Welcome back. A topic that sparked a lot of discussion over the last election was the provision of free college tuition to help bring the skills gap between those with and without post-secondary education. Henry, do you think all Americans should be able to attend college for free?
No. Absolutely, positively, unequivocally, no. Okay.
Now, how do you really feel?
We can talk about that when we're off microphone. Okay? But I mean, honestly, when we were going to college, okay, it was an achievement to get to college. My generation, my sister and myself, were the first members of our family to actually go to college. It was an achievement, and it's not seen that way. Now it's just seen, oh well, high school didn't teach us enough. We need to get more education, and we're going to now pay for it, and we're going to assume this large burden of debt, and as soon as you get the government to pay for college, it's going to become more expensive. We loosened the reins and made financial aid so readily available over the last 20 years. Look at the burden that we're putting upon those those students who are graduating today. We've made it incredibly difficult for them to dig out of that financial hole when they go and they get themselves a college degree, and right, they're in the hole for $80,000 plus. Someone goes to a trade school, they're in the hole for $12,000, $15,000, $20,000, but they're already making a $50,000 income instead of their poli-sci degree that they're pulling in $18K a year.
Right.
So there's a big difference there. If you want to give something for free, give the trades the opportunity for something for free.
Trade schools?
Trade schools, because they're contributing something back immediately, and they stay local in your economy. Okay? College students, if we want to say, oh, well, Washington County can help, let's do a pay for work, okay? If you want to go to a local school with our community that has the tuition discounts, then let's do this as an exchange. You put in 40 hours, a month, and you contribute something back into our community, and we'll help lower your cost of interest into the school.
So I'm going to go one step further on that, and Ron will probably back me up on this. There is already a way to go to college for free, and that's you join the armed forces.
True. That is so true. And I disagreed with everything you said.
Okay.
The trade school, Pittsburgh Institute of Aeronautics, PIA. $18,000 to $20,000, I think, to go.
Okay.
Those guys and gals come out, they get a job. A friend of mine, he meandered around for several years in his life. He didn't do anything, and his grandmother lived next door, and I talked to the kid and took him over to PIA one day. Right now he's in Florida making big money, and he's just bought his second piece of property to build a house, and he's doing so well. That's what PIA, Pittsburgh Institute of Aeronautics, did in a trade school.
Okay.
And they have the jobs. They just need more students, more students. How do we get more students? But I also like what you said. If you're going to get money, any kind of grant money that the county, state puts in, there should be a requirement that you give back to the community that gave that to you.
And whether it be a social requirement in the community, such as civil service, or it be, signing up and being in the military.
Right.
If an individual is willing to give some time in service into our country, into our community, then I see no problem in giving them access to college grant money and funds.
Right, or the economy, all right? And here's why I say that. State of Maryland. When I went to college, I actually got a scholarship through the state of Maryland that it was like $2,000 per year, but for every year I used the scholarship, once I got out of college, I had to work in my field in the state of Maryland for that many years.
And a lot of
and
communities
you know what?
do that
I loved
for
it.
teachers.
That was great.
There's communities that do that to keep the teachers local, which is a really great asset because you're developing homegrown talent, you're keeping them local, and hopefully after they're done their commitment, they've already been vested within the community, they've developed ties, and they stay and they grow with the school system.
So let me ask both of you. Do you think that we concentrate too much on sending kids to college in this country? Should we focus more on trade schools? Should we focus more on teaching them skills?
Ken, I like what you said before about the military. So before I answer your question, The military is a way to go. You got 5 branches of the service that you can go in, and the education that you get is a tremendous education, okay? I don't know why that isn't pushed more. What's the second part of your question now?
Do you think we focus too much on college?
What normally happens to a kid that goes to college, normally?
Normally, they take 5 years to hopefully complete a 4-year degree.
And they take the easiest, now not all of them, there's
Right.
a lot of them, kids, believe me. We just had a Rotary a couple of weeks ago, a young man and the courses that young man was taking. And I think it's unfair to generalize kids that are going to college. There's a lot that go to college, but there's a lot that go to college that what they take, they know they're not going to get a job in that field.
Now, do you think it's because of our education system, our public school education system, that is not pushing them enough during the first 12, 14 years that they're in the school system, pushing them enough to learn enough that now they feel the necessity they have to move up to college?
Well, maybe we need to have more emphasis on guidance counselors. I know years ago, I won an athletic scholarship, a full scholarship, and blew the whole thing. Went 1 year because I was not prepared to be a college student. And a lot of that could have been overcome with a guidance counselor.
Okay, you weren't prepared. Was this after you had your first full year ride? And you were already at college that you weren't prepared?
I wasn't prepared to go to begin with.
Okay, so you want the guidance counselor to help you when you're in
No, the guidance counselor is there
Help you
for you
determine
for the
if you
ninth
should go to
grade on up.
college.
What are you going to accomplish? What is it you need to do?
So the
What
proletariat
kind of
is
skills are
determining
you
what grade,
interested in?
what a second grader should be doing as we go down the road.
I don't know if determines the right word. I think a better word would be advise or help them discover themselves.
Do you think we should be helping them blossom and discover themselves when they're in, middle school? Do you think we should start channeling them to a certain direction? Because we've seen what aptitude that the students have, or some people are late bloomers, and
Yeah.
then all of a sudden when they're 11th, 12th grade, they still may not even know what direction is.
I don't know if there's a good answer for that, Henry. But
A lot of kids today know exactly what they want to be. They know if they want to go to Princeton, Yale, whether they're going to Wesleyan or where they're going. Those type of kids are already got their act together.
Right.
It's the other kids that just don't know, what do I really want to do
right,
in life?
and then somebody says to them, well, you need to go to college. So, and unfortunately, that's all the time we've got on this. But up next, our panel singles out this week's winners and losers. Stay tuned.